Ever since the Me Too movement and the scandal surrounding Harvey Weinstein, there have been many allegations against men in the entertainment industry. A recent controversy arose when actress and model Pamela Anderson alleged that actor Tim Allen had flashed her. In this video, we're taking a look at what happened, as well as a look back at their lives and how we got here. Join Facts First as Pamela Anderson alleges Tim Allen flashed her. Pamela Anderson's journey. Pam Anderson didn't have an easy start in life. While she had a loving family, she encountered a lot of trauma growing up in a small town in Canada. She was repeatedly sexually assaulted by a babysitter and later faced the same harrowing experience by an older man while still in her teens. She was also once sexually assaulted by her boyfriend and his friends while still in her teens as well. Needless to say, upon graduating high school, she was eager to escape and find a place to live a better life. Pamela was working as a fitness instructor in Vancouver, and it seemed this would be her career path. At the time, she didn't have any interest in pursuing modeling or acting. That all changed at a football game. She was attending a Canadian Football League game, and she happened to be wearing a t-shirt from famous beer brewing company Labatt's. The Jumbotron filmed different fans in the stadium to film their reactions. At one point, the camera was pointed at Pam and her incredible beauty was there for everyone to see. With her t-shirt, it almost seemed like she was a spokesmodel for Labatt's beer. And she became exactly that. The few seconds she appeared on camera, thanks to the Jumbotron, was enough for her to be spotted by a representative from the beer company. She was soon contacted and hired to become a spokesmodel for them. Fast forward a few months, Pamela Anderson had modeled in print and had been featured nude in Playboy magazine. She had moved to the US and was eager to further her career as a model and an actress as well. One of her earliest roles was as Lisa, one of the Tool Time girls on the new sitcom Home Improvement, starring now famous comedian Tim Allen. She left Home Improvement after 2 seasons, and it was then that she was cast in the hit show Baywatch, the show that made her a mainstream star. The move to appear in Baywatch is generally accepted as the reason why Pam quit Home Improvement. But now, as her memoir, Love, Pamela, is ready to hit bookshelves, there seems to be another reason. Before we get into that, let's look at how Tim Allen got into Home Improvement. Tim Allen's journey. Tim Allen didn't have the easiest start in life either. He grew up with loving parents but had a rough environment around him. His father Gerald was killed when Tim was only 11 in a fatal car accident. His mother remarried, and upon moving to a new neighborhood, Tim had to adapt to a new school and making new friends. He was a focused youngster and took particular interest in theater and classical piano. In the mid-1970s, while in his 20s, he decided to pursue stand-up comedy after a dare from a friend. He started finding success and performing regularly. But even as he pursued comedy, there was a darker side to his life. He still had a lot of sadness from his childhood and the death of his father. He got mixed up in the wrong crowd and ended up being a delivery boy for cocaine dealers, all while pursuing his career as a comedian. He tried to sell cocaine to an undercover cop one day, and this landed him in prison for 2 years and 4 months. Upon his release, he returned to comedy and realized he had to take life more seriously and stay out of trouble. He eventually became a regular performer at the Comedy Store in LA. He became a star there and soon was called on to talk shows, and this helped catapult him to stardom. One of his most famous personas was a caveman type who always grunted and loved his tools. The persona is what led to Tim Allen's distinctive comic style, and this led to him being cast as the lead in a new sitcom called Home Improvement. Behind the scenes of Home Improvement. Home Improvement was one of the most popular sitcoms of its time and was noted for largely being a family-friendly and clean sitcom with only the occasional risque humor. But behind the scenes, there were many challenges and dark secrets to the show. For example, even though Tim Allen had left his criminal past behind, he still had to battle his inner demons, and perhaps it was even harder now that he was a celebrity. While the show was airing, he'd been arrested for DUI, when the show was one of the biggest hits on TV. He entered rehab and has been sober since. He's spoken about the dangers of alcohol and has tried to be a good role model since then. One of the children on the show, Randy, was played by Jonathan Taylor Thomas. He began his career when he was only 8 and became a major celebrity as a teen. While many of the older actors could handle their stardom, it was difficult for a youngster who'd been in the spotlight his whole life. He eventually quit the show in the 8th season. It's alleged that Tim Allen was tough on JTT for focusing less on the show than his studies. The atmosphere on set was mostly welcoming, but it was also challenging for the actors who played the Taylor boys. They struggled as adults and had troubles with their career and finances. As one can see, not all was rosy on set. But until now, it's largely been seen as a great show with a family feeling both in front of the cameras and behind. Pamela Anderson alleges Tim Allen flashed her. On January 22, 2023, Variety magazine published an exclusive article that stated Pamela Anderson alleged Tim flashed her. The article stated that in her upcoming memoir, Love, Pamela, that will be released January 31st, has a passage discussing the incident. At the time of the alleged incident, Pam was already famous due to her photo shoots from Playboy. She alleges, according to the passage quoted by Variety, that she had left her dressing room on the home improvement set. She alleges that Tim was standing in the hallway in his robe and then briefly flashed her and exposed himself. He stated that they were now even since he'd seen her naked already, referring to her Playboy photo shoot. Since these allegations came out in Variety magazine, every media outlet under the sun has wanted to cover the story. Tim Allen responded in Variety by rebuking these claims, stating he would never do such a thing. And that's all we have on the story. The media is eager to keep sharing it, and many are criticizing Tim Allen, declaring him guilty. But there are also others criticizing Pam for bringing up this alleged incident when there isn't concrete proof. So now it's time to hear from you. Did you know about this incident between Pam Anderson and Tim Allen? Do you think it'll go any further, or will the story eventually die down? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.